Welcome to the Resume and Cover Letter Workshop produced by the University Career Service Department. Today, we'll cover how to create strong target application materials for jobs, internships, or grad school. Let's start with our goals for this session. By the end, you'll know how to build a professional customized resume, write a one-page focused cover letter, plan activities to strengthen your experience. Additionally, you will build career competencies and skills such as communication, career management, critical thinking, problem solving, teamwork, and collaboration. First, let's talk about something most applications go through before a human sees them, the ATS system. So what is ATS? Application Tracking System. And how does it work? Applicant tracking systems are used by corporations to assist with recruitment and hiring processes. Each system offers a different combination and scope of features, but ATS are primarily used to help hiring companies collect, organize, and filter applicants. If you'll notice here, nearly all Fortune 500 companies use them, and these are a few examples. Keep in mind, if your resume isn't ATS friendly, it may never reach the hiring manager. We'll keep this in mind as we build your resume, but for now, let's break down what goes into one. This is an example resume. If you'll notice, they have different sections, and most resumes, to be a strong resume, will have at least 5 strong sections. One would be the header, which contains the name and contact information. Next, your professional summary. Then you'll have a summary or a summary of skills, your education, employment history. And usually there's additional sections, but keep in mind, these sections are not required, but may be beneficial for individual basis, which may include things like community service, leadership, volunteer experience, or certifications. Let's go a step further to break down each section, starting with the header. Typically, you will have your contact information and your name. So your name should be the largest text. You'll include your phone number, a professional email, along with your address, which can only be your city and your state. If you would like to add your LinkedIn, that is optional. Do not include your social security number or photo. For reference, this is an example of how you may present your contact information in the header. Next may be your professional summary. Professional summaries are not required, but they are a good space for utilizing keywords, which, remember, this is something that is effective for the application tracking system. It can help you explain your focus and show how your qualifications or skills are relevant to the position that you're applying for. This also can be done into your cover letter, but it's nice when it's already in your resume. Keep in mind that objectives are outdated and are often ignored. Next, we'll talk about your education. It has a special formatting for the content. You're going to make sure that you're indicating the full title of your degree. You also want to indicate want to indicate your institution. Do not abbreviate, spell out completely. You want to make sure you include your major, the location, which is the city and the state. If your GPA is above a 3-point, indicate that as well. When you're anticipating graduating, you want to put expected, the month, and the year. And you can also include relevant coursework if necessary. Here is another example of how you can indicate your education information if you would like to go into more detail and explain relevant coursework. Now let's focus on work experience. There are key components that you want to have in your work experience when you're explaining your history. You want to make sure that you're including the full name of the company. Please don't abbreviate. You also want to use the city and the state. Then you'll put your position. You may provide a small description of what your positions are. And then you want to indicate in these bullet points area what your achievements are or what were your key results. And we'll talk a little bit later about how you can create those accomplishment statements. Typically in this area, you want to have at least 3 to 7 bullet points for your work experience. Now let's take a moment to pause in regards to creating achievement statements. Let's look at this last one. Delivered friendly, courteous customer service in an all phone and face-to-face client interaction. Notice how it starts with an action verb. Most achievement statements will start with that. One thing to keep in mind is making sure that you're using this action verb in either present tense or past tense, depending on if you're currently working the job or it's a position that you've had in the past. But the next slides will discuss how you can create those statements. Your bullet points should focus on your achievements, and to answer these questions, think about who or what benefited, what skills did you use, and how was it successful? Let's walk through these examples. So here we are, we're starting with the action verb, improved. If it was present tense, we'd say improving. And it says who or what benefited? 500 donor experiences. What skills did you use? By creating a walk-in Excel database. How was it successful? That decreased wait time by 30%. Most students stop at these first two, but for it to be a full, complete accomplishment statement, you want to make sure that you're including how it was successful. Let's take a look at the next one. Enhance the organization's visibility is who is what benefited by partnering with local organizations. The skills that was used and how was it successful? To gain 50 new quarterly blood donors. This is a great way or formula in being able to create accomplishment statements for your work history or even for your volunteer experience. One thing to keep in mind is that if you don't have numbers, you don't have to necessarily include them, but they are beneficial if you can. Here are a few guidelines that you would want to keep in mind when organizing your work history. Think in terms of experience, not employment or work history. Be concise in your description of what you did. Avoid using words like responsibilities include or duties were. Do not lie. Instead, put your best foot forward. Again, use those action verbs, but however, avoid words that are typically used more often than they should, such as assist, help, provide, and work. Avoid sharing duties that are on the job description. Your achievement statements equals what did you do that was above and beyond. Now, I mentioned earlier that you can have optional sections, and one optional section may be volunteering or certifications, or maybe you have leadership or affiliations, but this is an example of how you can indicate your extracurricular activities or other sections. Just make sure that you have a section head to be able to identify what you're going to be listing, and also include the company, maybe the time frame, and the city and state when it is relevant. Here is another example or a list of additional sections that you can add to your resume. When formatting your resume, keep in mind of the following guidelines. Formatting must be pleasing to the eye. you want to make it easier for the hiring manager to read. Statistics show that hiring managers take up to 5 to 7 seconds to read a resume. Therefore, you want to make sure that it's clear. Can be consistent in using the formula of fonts and headings and making sure you have proper sections. Focus on your strengths and your accomplishments. A good resume has balance. Now we'll discuss a cover letter. What is a cover letter? It is an introduction of yourself to an organization, a demonstration of your interest in the company or specific vacancy, and something that motivates the reader to interview you. And typically it's going to only be one page. This is an example of a layout of how a cover letter is typically formatted. You want to make sure that whatever font or style that you're using for your resume, it matches with your cover letter. If you'll notice here, you're going to indicate your name, your contact information, the date, the company, and you'll have the formal formattings of your letter, such as an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. Let's take time to break this cover letter down, starting with the greeting. If all possible, greet the hiring manager by name. If you feel comfortable, you can call the company and ask for the hiring manager's name, or you can address the hiring committee. In your next paragraph, you want to state the position that you're applying for, so it's clear. In the next couple of paragraphs, you want to explain why you are a good potential hire for this position. However, my recommendation is to think a little bit outside of the box to just repeat what information's in your resume. This is your opportunity to expound on your experience and to really deliver how your skills are relevant and influential and create value for the company. You also, at the end, before you close, you want to restate your contact information and always express your thanks and consideration for their time. Now, there's another key thing that you want to keep in mind in creating your cover letter. At the beginning of this presentation, I spoke about the application tracking system. And one of the ways that it sorts its information is by using keywords, specifically that pertain to the job description. It will be important for you to pay attention to potential strong keywords that are in the job description. An example of that might be for this job description is actually the position information and number. Words like recruitment system, new employees orientation, correspondence. As you can see, there's many other pieces of information or keywords that may register with the ATS system. These type of keywords are what you would want to put into your resume or into your cover letter. This information will be important for them to be able to identify what it is that you're applying to, how your background relates to the position, and this will help to increase your chances of getting through the ATS system to be able to reach the hiring manager. This concludes the presentation. We thank you for your time. Keep in mind, with a polished resume, strong cover letter, and professional follow-up, you're ready to stand out. Career Services is here to help you. You can visit us in the Reynolds Building on the 4th floor, as well as call us at 501-916-3021 or email us at careers@ualr.edu.